Bipolar disorder is one of the many disorders that affect people's mental health. This disorder isn't quite understood because of a variety of things, and it affects people of all ages, genders, and races. It is believed that around 45 million people are affected by a kind of bipolar disorder. Some factors may increase the risk of getting this disorder. One factor is to have a family member or someone in your family's history have the disorder, but it's not a major factor, as many people didn't develop the disorder even when some members of their family have it. Another factor is having a lot of stress from an event, such as the death of a loved one or any other shocking event. Drugs and alcohol abuse is also included as one of the factors. Bipolar disorders may be connected to other disorders like ADHD and anxiety disorder. Around 20% of people with ADHD may develop bipolar disorder, and around half of the people who have bipolar disorder have experienced an anxiety disorder during their life. There are 3 kinds of bipolar disorders: Bipolar I disorder, Bipolar II disorder, and Cyclothymic disorder. They all include some sort of manic, hypomanic, or depressive episode. Before I talk about the 3 types of bipolar disorders, I'll briefly explain the 3 terms I'll be using, which are manic episode, hypomanic episode, and depressive episode. A manic episode can last for a week or more. During a manic episode, the individual will feel very hyper. They'll be more creative, they will need less sleep, and they'll have trouble concentrating because of their restless minds. Usually, during a manic episode, the person will feel like they're invincible, which is dangerous because they may want to take huge risks, like trying more alcohol or drugs as an example. Hallucinations and delusions can be experienced during a manic episode. A hypomanic episode is somewhat similar to a manic episode, but not as severe. It lasts for a few days, and they will feel the same emotions as someone experiencing mania, but they won't experience hallucinations or delusions. In conclusion, the emotions won't be very extreme. And lastly, a depressive episode. It lasts for about 2 weeks or more. The person will feel very sad, empty, and will lose interest in their daily activities. Bipolar I disorder consists of periods of mania and depression, just like Bipolar II disorder and Cyclothymic disorder. To diagnose an individual with Bipolar I disorder, they must experience a manic episode for around 7 days, or when the symptoms are very severe, be hospitalized. Usually, after the manic episode, the individual will experience a depressive episode that may last for around 2 weeks. The symptom for this type of disorder is getting a major depressive episode, which means that the person experiencing it will feel very sad, hopeless, and empty for a minimum of 2 weeks. Bipolar II disorder is milder than Bipolar I disorder. This disorder includes having a major depressive episode lasting for around 2 weeks, and at least 1 hypomanic episode. A hypomanic episode is less severe than a manic episode. The symptoms of this type of bipolar disorder are mania or hypomania. And lastly, there is the cyclothymic disorder. This is considered the rarest and the mildest out of the 3. Just like people without the disorder, these individuals experience ups and downs in their mood, but there is a noticeable period of time that this happens, sort of like a pattern. The symptoms are similar to Bipolar I and II disorders, but the person might get only 1 or a couple of symptoms of mania, hypomania, or depression. All types of bipolar disorders impact a person's daily life, from your work life, social life, and family life. For example, during a manic episode, the person will feel very hyper, creative, and full of energy. They also will have problems with their concentration. Because of that, it affects their ability to focus on whatever task they need to complete or take part in, like focusing in class or completing their homework. But for all of you who have this disorder, it's okay. Even some celebrities have bipolar disorder, like Demi Lovato and Mariah Carey. So it's perfectly fine to have bipolar disorder or any mental disorder. You're not alone.